is seed cycling and can it help clear your hormonal acne? Perhapsies! Today I'm sharing all the information you need to start seed cycling for clear skin, plus 4 action steps you can take to start to heal hormonal acne naturally. Yay. Hi there, I'm Therese, and after 15 years of acne struggles, I finally cleared my acne naturally. I created my acne clearing program, The Clear Code, to help you do the same. 6.5 years and thousands of clients later, I've made it my life's work to get you clear skin without pills, crazy creams, and/or crazy hormones. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. Seed cycling is super simple. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's really just using seeds, the consumption of seeds, to balance your hormones at specific points throughout the month. Now, clear skin is usually the result of seed cycling, but that comes as a result of balancing your hormones. So we're going to talk a little bit about both seed cycling and balancing your hormones today. Are you just coming off the birth control pill? Do you have hormonal acne along your jawline and or on your chin? Do you find that you break out mid-cycle pre-period? If you answer yes to any of those questions, type yes below because I want to support you, and watch on. We're going to talk about seed cycling in one hat sec, but first, before we do that, we have to talk about cycle syncing. We can't talk about seed cycling without talking about balancing your hormones first, because really that's what seed cycling does. And as you balance your hormones and work in a way that supports your body naturally, your skin benefits. So that's what we're going to talk about today, seed cycling and balancing your hormones. And one of the ways that we can do that is with cycle syncing. Cycle syncing is the practice of syncing up your cycle, your 4-part menstrual cycle, to other aspects of your life throughout the month. So you have your, physical movement, like working out, food, eating, food, socializing, work, everything. Cycle syncing is the practice of syncing the times of your cycle with the other parts of your life. And I'm going to explain more. So let's talk about it. So you have 4 phases of your cycle, right? Let's go over them really quickly because it's so important that you know them if you're a woman or you identify as a woman or you go through any of these processes every month. Knowing this stuff is going to change your life, and that is literally why I'm here. So let's go through the 4 parts of your cycle throughout the month real quick. Not a science lesson, I promise. I'm not here to bore you, but I want you to know this. We have your menstrual phase. This is when you're bleeding. Your hormone levels are at their lowest. The lining of your uterus is shedding. You have your follicular phase. This phase is the most variable phase of the menstrual cycle. The average duration is about 14 days. Estrogen reaches a certain level known as the estrogen threshold. The pituitary will respond by releasing a surge of LH and a much lesser surge of FSH. During your ovulation phase, this dramatic increase of LH triggers the release of the egg from the ovary, leading us to the 3rd phase, which is ovulation. This is your most fertile time. If you want to make a baby here, this is the time. You know what I'm saying. Luteal phase is a 4th phase for you throughout the month, and it's basically when the follicle that formerly held the dominant egg collapses, becomes yellow, and it becomes known as the corpus luteum. It secretes progesterone for 12 to 16 days, and then when it's not fertilized, it disintegrates and you get your period. I think you already know what I'm about to say, and or you're going to recognize yourself in what I'm about to say. Every single part of your hormonal cycle is different. You have different physical needs, you have different emotional needs, you have different sex drive, like a different libido, you want different foods, everything is different for you. So again, I repeat, if you identify as a woman, you are a woman, you go through these cycles throughout the month, please know that you are not supposed to be the same person every single day. Elisa VT wrote this amazing book called In the Flow. I've loved her forever. Maybe she'll become my friend. But anyways, she talks about this way more in depth and I could never do it all justice. But her work with a bunch of other works, I'll link to them below, have really influenced using cycle syncing for me to support my best life. So here's how that looks in my life a little bit. And we're going to get to seed cycling in a minute. So during your menstrual phase, Elisa VT calls this kind of like winter, and I love that. Winter for your body. It's like, for me, fuzzy slippers, cozy robe, bath time, nobody talk to me time. You know what I'm saying? And not even nobody talk to me and then I'm angry like PMSing. I actually usually find that once I get my period, I'm much more calm and relaxed. But basically at this point, your hormones are the lowest. You're gonna wanna focus on things like yoga, slower movement, walking, because I don't know about you, for me, trying to do like HIT at this time is like asking me to like move the sidewalk with my body. It's just not gonna happen. And so it's a time of a lot of slowing down, to be honest. That's your menstrual phase, okay? From an emotional, physical needs perspective. Your next phase is your follicular phase. And I love the follicular phase. It's usually when things are getting a little bit more exciting. I'm like peeking out into the wilderness again, aka the world. I want to talk to people. It's a little bit anticipatory. It's like I'm getting ready for things, I'm planning things, spring, shall we say. And from a physical movement perspective, I've got more energy. I usually want to go on like a run at this point, right? The third phase is my fave, and actually once you start to track your cycle, which I definitely recommend you do with the app Flow, for example, you're gonna love your ovulatory phase. It's the best phase. I shouldn't say that. Best is not the right comment. The most social and outgoing at your ovulatory phase. You're gonna feel a ton of energy. You're gonna wanna like engage with everybody you talk to. This is like when you go to the coffee shop and you're like, hi, how are you? And they're like, 2 weeks ago you didn't wanna even talk to me. And you're like, well, I was menstruating, huh? Anyways, it's very, like from a physical perspective, you're gonna be up and you're gonna wanna do weights and HIT and all the stuff. You're gonna have all the energy. Luteal phase is the final phase. I like to think of this as fall. This is when things get a little quieter. You get a little bit more chill. Again, like fall. You're wrapping up projects, you're bringing things to a conclusion. Maybe you're spending a little less time with people, more time in nature. I personally actually still find that I have a ton of energy at this point in my phase, but I always have a ton of energy. Well, not when I have my period, but I'm hyper. I would say I'm on the hyper side of things. But if you feel yourself slowing down at this point in your cycle, that's totally normal and it's totally fine. So now that we've covered cycle syncing from an emotional and physical perspective, we can talk a little bit more about the food aspect, and that includes seed cycling. So like I mentioned at the beginning, it is the easiest, simplest thing. Basically, seeds, specific seeds, I'm going to share them with you in a second, act upon the estrogen and the progesterone in your body throughout the month. So basically at the beginning of the month, you are dominant in estrogen. I'm going to second guess myself in a second because there's a condition called estrogen dominance wherein you have too much estrogen in relation to progesterone, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying at the beginning of the month, your estrogen is at its highest levels, and then as you get to the second half of the month, estrogen falls and progesterone rises. And this is an ideal kind of wave of hormones for you. And what often happens is estrogen dominance, for example, or another issue with progesterone, where you might have too much or too little in relation to the other hormone. And so that's what the seeds help with. They have a ton of essential fatty acids. They have a compound in them called lignans that really support estrogen detoxification and other hormonal detoxification out of your body. Okay, so here's how easy seed cycling is. In the first half of your cycle, so days 1 through 14, that's your follicular and your ovulatory phase, you are going to grab 1 tablespoon of flaxseed. I like to use ground up flaxseed, that's going to get you the most nutrients, and 1 tablespoon of pumpkin seeds, and add them in. They'll help with estrogen detoxification and they'll support you also from a progesterone perspective. So that's the first part of your cycle, the first half. In the second half of your cycle, so days 15 to 30, again, don't quote me on that, but like generally speaking, so the second half of your cycle after you ovulate, you're going to add 1 tablespoon of sesame seeds and 1 tablespoon of sunflower seeds. I like to add them throughout the day to a bunch of different things. So rule of thumb, generally speaking, for flaxseed in particular, first before we talk about what to eat with these things, is buy flaxseed whole as a seed, grind it up in your coffee grinder, store what you don't use in the fridge, and then eat flaxseed fresh. That's going to get you the best quality flaxseed. And I put flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, and sunflower seeds on yogurt, especially even if you're eating non-dairy yogurt, that's fine. In smoothies, I put it on top of like avocado toast. You can put it in like power balls, like, you know, you mix like dark chocolate and coconut and peanut butter, mix them all together and like put them in the freezer. I put flaxseed and stuff in that. So there's so many different ways that you can get seed cycling in. And I just often have a bunch of seeds like in bags, like a bag seed lady around me, and then I eat them. So most of the evidence around seed cycling is anecdotal in that there aren't a ton of studies on it. There's one study done below about it, but generally speaking, I've seen people have great results. So if you're interested, give it a try. It's so easy. So easy. Again, I'm not a doctor, but so easy. So now that you have more information on how to start healing hormonal acne naturally, would you like to get a little bit more clear on your root acne triggers? I have a 30-second 10-question acne triggers quiz listed below that you can download, take, and download 3 action steps based on your unique triggers along with 3 recipes you can start to incorporate into your daily diet. And we also have a root triggers webinar where I go over the 7 root triggers that I see the most often, and I give you 9 action steps you can start to take to heal your acne naturally from the inside out. So if you want to head there, check that out. It's free. I would love for you to watch it and let me know what you think. Also, if you want to join a safe, private, and empathetic community of people struggling with their acne just like you, we have a private Facebook group where you can meet other people struggling with skin stuff as well. So find the link below for that as well. If you like this video, first of all, I'm really pumped. Second of all, make sure you like it, hit the bell to be notified when we post a new video, and subscribe to the channel so that you get notifications in the future. And most importantly, if you know someone who knows that there is something deeper causing their acne and they're on the hunt for a solution, send them this video so that they can start to take just a little action around that to see results. And then as it starts to change your life, it can really help. So if you have any friends who need help with healing their acne naturally, please send them this video. I would be honored. Okay, have a great day. I will talk to you later. Bye.